I think you're muted. Did you mute yourself?
I did because I was talking crap about you. So now I'm.
I mean, I would do the same thing. I was talking crap about you the whole time that was going. Nobody could hear it. The audience couldn't hear it. You couldn't hear it.
Oh, good.
My
Our
dog heard it though.
Our commer is clean. That is clean.
Anyway, so we're back here again for part 2.
Wait, hold on. Yeah. All right. Julian Assange says hi.
Oh, does he? Okay, cool. I was wondering where he's been. It's been a while. He didn't return my last text message about meeting up at the bar the other day.
Yeah, so he's a little bit busy. He's got a meeting tomorrow, and then something about don't worry, you're not on the list.
Damn it. That's disappointing. It'll be disappointing to me if I go to my grave and I'm never on any list.
Yeah, well, I think we're both on a list, if you know what I mean.
Well, we're not talking about the one down at the gay club. We're talking about
oh, that list. That's a completely different. I was talking about the 3-letter list, but
yeah. That one. Sorry, the wrong show. My bad, man. I meant
3 letters though. That is 3 letters.
3 letters.
I can see how
he's on the 3-letter the gay list.
Right. Exactly.
Oh man. All right. So I think we should probably get serious for this a little bit. I mean, it's always good to have fun. We do. We like to have fun. But anyway, anything you want to bring up before we dive into stuff?
No, I'm actually
like Lewis is I don't even want to be here today.
No, why am I here?
What is happening right now?
This isn't my frequency right now. No, actually, I believe the disclosures are coming out hot and heavy now. On virtually every station. I mean, I'm seeing it on Fox. I'm seeing it on CNN. A guy today went totally apoplectic on Newsmax, and it's just like disclosure to RFK Jr. Did you see what he's saying?
I didn't. I mean, admittedly, I have not watched the news for the last couple of days because I'm trying to.
Total disclosure. He's talking about Operation Paperclip. He's talking about all of them.
Yeah,
all the stuff we've been talking about forever. It's great and it hurts at the same time. It's like, okay, so nobody's paying attention to us until a name. By the way, let me just put it this way: Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, Russell Brand, RFK Jr., Elon Musk, all of them, even Steve Bannon, all of them have known all this stuff for years. But because the gray hats are in control, they slowly roll this stuff out. So it's clearly all planned. But I think the proverbial poopy is going to be hitting the fan real soon here.
I think so. You think we'll crash Rumble again today?
I don't know. I do believe that we're going to crash the stock market, the banks, and the real estate market, though.
Well, it has to. It's coming. But again, that's why it's important for people to start taking this serious instead of just sitting back and watching. A lot of people, and I'm not buying this either, that saying that, Russia's our friend. They're really on our side. Like this stuff here with, I'd say it's pretty safe to say that the narrative is not what the Patriot mythology people are saying that it is, right?
And again, I think it can be both, and that's what the biggest problem is, and that's why this is the land of fuckery. Excuse my language, because I believe both things could be happening. There is a underground, literally, operation going on, but there's so much work that has to be done that I believe is from we the people. And like I always say to all the people that are 100% that this is a movie, I go, okay, this is 100% a movie. I just have to ask you, why did Lahaina get hit with DEW weapons? Why are there people literally crossing the border, raping and pillaging other people? If that's the case, if it's all just a movie, nobody can answer these questions. Well, the reason I believe, which makes the most sense, is let Trump and his team do whatever they got to do, but that's a massive military plan if that's going on. And I do believe there is a lot of it going on. But guess what? They don't have control of everything. They have control of a chessboard. They don't have
Yeah.
control of everything. So, but you pointed it out really well, and I'm going to tag on to this from last week. In Q, you've proved, which I've been saying forever, that trust the plan is we the people.
Yep.
So,
Well,
so
and guess what?
until we take that to heart, I don't believe we're going to see everything that we want to see.
No, we're not. And I'm going to show you more Q drops. We just scratched the surface last week. I'm not even kidding.
Mhm.
And I don't like, there's so many Q drops that literally prove my point. And I'm not saying this to toot my own horn, because literally all I did was just type in a qalerts.app. Of course, I've been doing this for years, being the author of the Jesus Q Connection. I've been talking about this stuff, but I really don't expect a lot of people to read the books. Don't really care. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I got the download from the Holy Spirit. It was part of my assignment. I did it. I put it out there. So whoever wants to read it can read it. But I'm just telling you, literally all I did was something super simple that anyone could do. Just go to the search bar at the top and type in certain keywords, and it pulls up every single drop with those things. And you're reading it. So it's like, it's just hundreds upon hundreds and upon hundreds of Q drops that say exactly what we're saying, say exactly what I've been saying for years and years and years. And everybody is, it's the traditional mantra they just keep chanting over and over and over. Trust the plan. Trump and the military's got it under control. Trust the plan. That's not the plan. That's the problem. I really think we were infiltrated. I think that's a controlled opposition thing to get us to think that the plan is something that it's not, so that we won't take action. Just like I believe that the devil infiltrated the ecclesia, the original ecclesia. Everything was hijacked by the original Sanhedrin. They created the Vatican. All they did was rebrand themselves, change their name. Why do you think the Pope still wears a yarmulke? It's literally just the Ashkenazis, the Khazarians, who were running that. All that stuff goes way back before the Sanhedrins even. And the Sanhedrin that's the Jewish council that crucified Jesus. And so they did the same thing. They realized, well, we can't stop this thing. We can't stop the word of God, just like they can't stop Trump. They can't stop the MAGA movement. But what we can do is we can infiltrate it, and we can at least slow this thing down and maybe derail it at some point. If we can just get them to think that the plan is something else other than what it really is. And they did that with the Bible, and they're doing it with Q.
Yeah. And I, this is why I keep trying to tell people both can be true. There can be operations going on, and like I've been saying for years, over and over, I'm going to say it again. God, I really believe, has already won, but we the people have to act in order to reap the harvest. It's that
Yep.
simple. And so let's make an assumption. Why do people make an assumption that Trump and the so-called white hats got everything handled, and then they say, but then I don't have to do anything? That should motivate you. If you really believe Trump and the white hats are doing everything, then you should get off your ass wholeheartedly and let's get this thing over the finish line. See,
Yep.
that's one of my biggest concerns. Is I people think those are mutually exclusive, and they're not, right?
Yeah.
And if there wasn't, so let's put this on the table. You believe in what Q is selling us, correct?
I believe
But
wholeheartedly in what Q is saying. What I think has happened is there's too much controlled opposition infiltrating and convincing people that Q said something that it didn't, just like they did with the Bible.
I always go back to this. Matthew 5:5, the meek shall inherit the earth. We've been taught through churches, because this is the infiltration, that meek is weak, meek is docile, meek says you don't fight back. I've proven, I did a 9-minute video about this. I proved exactly the opposite. You know more about this than I do. That, I believe, is exactly what happened to Q. I think you had the infiltrators that come out and they sell you, just like you're saying, they sold you on a certain way things are. And then what it does, it gets everybody.
And they bring the most people down with them. It's easy to tell when something's ice cold.
Rhinos would be a great example of that.
Yeah, exactly. So there are still a lot, again, in this mini series. I want to go over a lot of the writings select writings of our founding fathers. I thought about doing it today because we spent so much time on the Q drops last time, but I feel like if I continue to like bounce back and forth between the writings of our founding fathers, the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, Articles of Confederation, Bill of Rights, yada yada yada. And I bounce back and forth between that and Q, it's going to create too much confusion, especially since we're doing this. We're not doing this show like every single day back to back to back. So it's easy to forget and lose momentum. So I would rather stick, if you're good with it, stay with the Q drops and just show the rest of what I have for right now on the Q drops, because there's still quite a few of them. We'll definitely fill our time with that. And then on the next one, I can get into the select writings of the founding fathers. What do you think?
Yeah, perfect. Do it.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up that last Q drop that we left off on. And again, this is all I did. You see where it's highlighted in red. It says, you, the people, have the power. This is all I did. I go up here to the search bar. This is nothing special. Anybody can do this. This is why it's easy to prove that exactly what I'm saying is true. This isn't a theory. I'm literally just reading exactly what it says, just like I do with teachings in the Bible. All I do is just go read what it says, and then you end up with a lot of religious people with thin Bibles because they want to rip those pages out of their Bible. I imagine there's a lot of people that want to rip these pages out of the Q drops because it destroys the whole airplane screenshot narrative. It destroys the whole trust the plan, the typical trust the plan narrative, which is not the actual plan. It destroys the whole what I called last time Q-tard thing. And by the way, I want to clarify for those who got offended by that. I'm not calling you guys that are watching this Q-tards unless you are one of the people that are really part of the problem, that are just spewing this vile craziness that's keeping us held back. I mean, I don't like to call people names, but when I say Q-tard, it's like I would call pastors at religious churches Bible tards, because they take it and they twist it out of context and they make it retarded. And they make us retarded. They make everything retarded. So that's really all it means. I think people need to, if you just listen to what's being said too, in context, it's a lot easier to gather what I'm saying. I'm not trying to pull any punches or be offensive to people.
No, you weren't. I think what the misunderstanding was, and we tend to do, is the mainstream anti-Q called everybody that read Q-tards. So when you said that, they thought you were talking about the readers when you were talking about the people that are manipulating the message.
Yeah, that's them and the Patriot Mythology people, all the people that have taken Q's message and the purpose of Q and twisted it out of context, just like they did with the Bible. So literally all I'm doing with the Q drops is showing you they've done the same thing with Q as what they did with the Bible. That's literally all I'm doing. It's
so scroll up real quick to the red.
Okay.
So for years, in fact, this is documented for years and years and years. I've been screaming at the top of my lungs, "We the people hold all the power."
Yep.
I can honestly tell you right now, I've never read except maybe 5% of all the Q drops. So I've never seen this before. And the reason why I want to point that out, because that means God is directly involved.
Yeah.
Giving us direction, because how would I come up with that message?
Well, again, that's why I started writing the book, The Jesus Q Connection, because this is, well, first of all, there's a lot of things with the letter Q that's tied to Jesus, like the Qumran community, the Q gospel. Actually, that's where the original gospel comes from. There's a lot of stuff, and I talk about this in my book, but it's fascinating and mind-blowing how much this is absolutely being directed by God. But that, to me, makes more sense why it would be infiltrated and things would be twisted out of context, just like they did with the Bible. Because if it's truth, it's going to set you free. The enemy has a lot of vested interest in infiltrating it and twisting it out of context.
Yep, I agree.
So, yeah, that's all I'm doing with this stuff. And every single time, look at this. Research for yourself. Hang on, I want to start back further. You, the people, have the power. So this is drop 1822, and the other one by it is 668, because they say some of the same things in some of these drops. They repeat themselves, and for good reason. You, the people, have the power. It didn't say we have the power. It didn't say Trump and the military has the power. It didn't say the plan is Trump and the military. It says you, the people, have the power. This movement challenges their forced narrative. This movement challenges people to not simply trust what is being reported. Research for yourself. Think for yourself. Trust yourself. Don't trust airplane screenshot people and everybody coming up with tinfoil hat patriot mythology stuff. And I say that when I say tinfoil hat, you know what I mean, because they call us tinfoil hat people. The cabal does, and I know you have your tinfoil hat you wear
Are
as a
you
joke.
talking to me? You talking about
But
my tinfoil
when
hat?
when when I say tinfoil hat, I take it an extra level. I'm talking
All
about the
right.
people within the
There ain't no
movement.
EMF hitting my head, motherfucker.
I'm not even talking about that. I think you should put lead in your paint and paint your whole house with it, paint your walls with it, paint your roof blue. I don't know. I don't care. Put a blue roof on, whatever you got to do. But
I'm drinking lead and red mercury right now.
but I'm just saying there is a category of actual tinfoil hat people within the truth movement, and it needs to be exposed. And most of them are doing this just to be internet famous and make money off of you. They steal your
That's right.
energy, and that's the problem with it. That's why I'm so, like you said last time, you're pissed off about it. I'm pissed off about it because those are the people that are actually slowing this down and making it worse and making it take longer. All right,
Yep.
so the rest of what they said here, this movement is not about one person or a group of people. Huh, imagine that. We, the people. That's all of us. That ain't some of us. That's all of us. You are witnessing a full panic attack by the fake news media and covert alt media. They cannot contain or defeat what they do not understand.
Okay, back up. Covert alt media.
Yep.
That's very important for people to hear, so they can't keep blaming the mainstream media all the time.
Right. So just there's a few good nuggets there. That one isn't super powerful. I'm going to show you some today that are really powerful. Now, a lot of these, just to make them bigger on my screen, I did the same thing I did last time. And of course, when you screenshot on your phone, I just screenshotted. I dropped the images here. It's going to clip out some of the numbers of the drops, and I didn't make a list today because I just didn't have time to. There's too many of them. You guys can search it. It's really, because you can see what's in red. What's highlighted in red, that's literally what I searched. So you can go on qalerts.app and do the search yourself and find what these drops are. But I screenshot it on my phone so it's bigger so you can see it easier up there. But you are watching a movie. Now, this has always been one of the biggest things in the whole Q movement for the anons, what people have called the anons, right? That I think has been wildly misunderstood. Look carefully at what Q says after says you're watching a movie. They want you weak. Think about that. You are watching a movie.
Yep.
Hey, am I wrong about this? Do you think I'm reading into this?
No, that's okay. I told you before, what motivated me to go down to the border wasn't reports of what was going on the border. It was reports of what people were saying wasn't going on the border.
Right.
And I'm like, it's not adding up to me, right? That doesn't resonate with me. So I go down there, and the first thing we see is 200 illegal aliens sitting waiting for their friends, by the way, Border Patrol, their friends, Border Patrol, to pick them up, process them, so they can get their
No, that would
14
never happen, Lewis. That's conspiracy theory.
No, in fact, and I interviewed in the dead of night between the chain link fence, a Border Patrol guy. He didn't want his name to be on film, and I respected that. And he says they're so frustrated because they literally are processors now. They're not Border Patrol anymore. And they have to send them to certain cities, and they know that they end up getting housing, and they get a gift card to spend, and they get free medical. And so I asked a few of them, why aren't you fighting back? Because we don't want to lose our pension. We don't want to lose our job, don't want to lose our pension. And they've been threatened. If you speak up, we're coming after you. I mean, that's so if that's not real, I don't know what is.
No, it's very real, but I'll tell you, there is one silver lining to this that we could flip the tables on them with this. If we do this right, if enough people stand up in unison, which is what your upcoming Unity tour is all about, if enough people stand up in time in unison to flip this thing back around, all of those people that have the phones and the cards, they're all trackable now. We know exactly who they are and where they are.
Exactly. And I think there may be an ace in the hole here. Let's assuming there are gray hat elements doing any work.
Yeah.
So if there is a version of Nasara Jassar that was that work that nobody talks about, ironically, isn't that funny? and that was Libya. Libya figured a way to they were get rid of the central bank, put their dollar on the gold standard, give free clean water to everybody. What I'm talking about in
Oh,
Libya,
okay.
Muammar Gaddafi. Yeah, yeah. So here's what's
Oh, that's
interesting
right. You
about
said Libya. My bad. I don't know why I was thinking something else. Go ahead.
here's what's interesting about that. If that was implemented in other countries, all you would have to say is the only way that you can collect is you have to go back to your country. They
Yeah.
would flood back to their country, but we don't have any control of that. So this is what you're talking about. We only have control of what we have control of.
Right.
So we can stand up, we can force policy change, we can expose, we can go out there and fight, we can make sure that we buy our weapons and ammo, our food and our water. So there's a lot that we can do on our own. I don't believe that we will ever have it handed to us completely unless we show that we are willing, ready, and able to take it back.
Yeah, you have to demonstrate. It's just like, a father has a son. He's 16 years old. He has to demonstrate that he's responsible enough to have a really nice car. If the dad's going to put his skin in the game there and buy him a car and whatever. Otherwise, I would suspect that a responsible father would be like, okay, you haven't really proven that you're trustworthy. Maybe you've proven the opposite. So I'm
Mhm.
going to make you work a little harder for it, make you prove that you can actually become responsible, put some skin in the game. Go save up some money and get your own car.
So we have 7 kids, and 5 of them we pretty much raised the whole time, right? I can tell you, my oldest was very frustrated by the rules and regulations that we put on him when up until the age of 18, because we had some restrictions and they had certain chores they had to do and they had to behave a certain way, and they were held accountable and they had to earn what they got. He was very frustrated by that.
Yeah.
By the time he was 23ish, I think, he called me one time and he goes, "All that's out the window." He goes, "I just got to tell you, I really appreciate the way you and mom raised me, because now this kid, amazing.
Well, you did
He's
him a favor. You would have done him a disservice had you done the opposite.
Yeah, but right now he can buy any house he wants, he can any cars he wants, he can travel the world. He did. He's went to Japan recently. So my point is, he understood after a while, because we held our ground, because we weren't looking to be buddies with our kids. We were looking to set them up as good as we can. And to set somebody up as good as you can has nothing to do with what you give them. It's
Right.
what they learn how to give back themselves.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. That was one of my best moments in life, getting that phone call. And I thought that would happen, late 20s, maybe early 30s. So to happen when he was about 23, I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
Awesome.
But
Yeah. I mean, I firmly believe that Christ has done the same thing for us. What is actually, offered up as grace, salvation by faith or by grace through faith. You don't deserve it, but you get it anyway. But a lot of people just think, okay, well, that's just a free ticket to heaven. You don't have to earn it, and there's nothing that goes with it. It's if you read this thing and you understand what it really says, it's amazing how it will really transform you, because the Bible actually doesn't. You don't read the Bible reads you. It doesn't tell you who God is, it shows you who you are. It's a mirror. The Q posts are the same way. And that's why I think a lot of these people have gotten these wild interpretations out of Q when it doesn't even say that. That's happened with the Bible. It forces you to earn it. It forces you to face yourself in the mirror and show you who you really are. And if you look at the deep intricacies in the Bible and the deep intricacies in Q, it really is a mastermind plan that can only be done, I believe, by the Holy Spirit. And that's, again, why I wrote the book, The Jesus Q Connection. But yeah, there's a lot that needs to be learned. And that's why I wanted to go through this series with you.
yeah. Let me give literally a 10-second analogy, just so
Yeah.
people know where we're going with this. So, for example, I used to play football. I love football. I know people, it's a horrible sport, whatever. I love playing American football, and I was really freaking good at it. Thank God. Thank you for the gift. And I'll tell you this. So if I made a touchdown and it was because somebody fell down while I was catching the ball and running, I
Yeah.
felt, okay, cool, touchdown. if I broke 2 or 3 tackles on my way there or made a quick move and made somebody fall, I was like, "Yeah, that's it,"
Yeah.
because I earned it. The
Yeah.
way that we feel when we earn something, and that's why the one thing that makes me cry is triumph. When I know that somebody's worked their whole life or a long time for something and pushed and pushed and pushed, and they hit that goal, that gets me teary-eyed as all get out. That's what we're doing right here, folks, is we're earning it. We have to earn it because it's gonna feel a lot better, not to mention, like I've said 100 times, 30 to 40 years from now, we're not gonna give it all back because we've went through the fire in order to get here.
Yeah. Um, well, yeah, and I believe even with the whole grace thing in the Bible, you still there's an aspect of earning it. There's only one way to fail, and that's if you don't sign up with the grace, the gospel of grace plan, which actually works on transforming you. It's not something that you do per se. Like the whole point of it is you don't earn it through ritualistic religious stuff. Going through religious rituals and things like that. That's why Jesus said, "Pick up your cross and follow me." And that's what Q is asking us to do. Are you ready to finish what we started? Look at this quote here from POTUS that Q put up. And again, some of these will have because a lot of these are really long. So when I screenshot it on my phone, it cuts off the top. You guys you can search these and find which drop number they are. But I'm doing it this way so you can see it easier on the screen. So I'm screenshotting the most important part of the drop. This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. And Q said, logical thinking. Use logical thinking. Stop sitting on the sidelines. Is it even possible lawfully? Does the Constitution, any of the founding documents, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. It puts limitations on what the government can do, on what the legislative branch, Congress, on what POTUS can do, on what the military can do, on what the Justice Department, the judicial branch can do. Limitations, and anything that's the Constitution says anything that's not listed in there. Our Bill of Rights, Bill of Rights is part of the Constitution. I hate it when people say it's not. There's a reason why they add it, and they're called amendments to the Constitution because they are actually part of the Constitution. It's like your Declaration of Rights that appears in all the state constitutions. It's very clear that anything that's not delegated specifically, powers specifically delegated and enumerated, listed out individually, given authority to the executive, legislative, and judicial branches, it is reserved to the states and the people. That's in our Bill of Rights. So obviously they're not going to be able to do what a lot of these patriot mythology people have been saying. And I really think that's why we're in plan B right now. Like I said before, it's not a popular opinion right now, but I think people will change their minds here real soon. I think that the day that Trump took so long to come out on video and say, everyone go home peacefully, because I think he's like, we don't have the numbers to do this. 1 million to 2 million people, not enough to do it. We need 10 million plus, preferably more like 20 to 30 million or 50 or 60 million. But you can't reclaim control over the government if you sit at home and watch stuff on TV and say, well, I'm just trusting the plan. What are you trusting? The Constitution spells out what the president and the military can do. It's very limited. It's called self-governance for a reason. And if you don't self-govern, somebody will self-govern you, or somebody will govern you yourself. It's either you govern yourself or somebody else governs yourself. That's how this works. And I really think that Trump was just like, okay, we got to go to plan B because we don't have the numbers this time. J6 would have been that turning point. But since we didn't have the numbers, the people weren't ready. They're just demonstrating. And I saw somebody, making smart ass comments in on your page or on your Rumble channel or whatever. Like, well, was Ethan at J6? I actually sent people to J6. I had people there. I had reporters there. I've got tons of footage. I wasn't going to go because with this ministry and me doing the reporting, it's the same reason Tucker Carlson or, somebody who's a head of a media station isn't going to necessarily go on the front lines. They've got reporters that go do that. But I was actually halfway there and I was waiting to see because I was going to drive the rest of the way there if we had the numbers. But I was smart enough to know, I knew what was going on just because I'd been reading Q. At this point, I'd already, written and release the first volume of the Jesus Q Connection. I'm like, if we don't have the numbers, it ain't going to fly. And so Trump did exactly what I expected him to do. And so I think it's our fault, really, that this is going on as long as it has. But apparently it's necessary.
Yeah, I'm glad it happened this way, to be honest with you, because the difference to where people were awake 4 years now compared to
Yeah.
now is astronomically different. So
Yeah.
I actually think this was meant to be. This, I think, could have been plan A, but appears to be plan B.
Yeah, I
Because
think it's plan B.
I think people need to be woken up. And people can still believe, as I do, that something's going on in the background with the gray hats, but why would that freeze you anyways?
Right. No, you should be doing this anyways. Well, that's
Yeah,
why I said I think on J6, regardless of what happens, we should show up. That's why I started this new hashtag, J60million. Because I think we should show up 60 million deep in D.C. regardless of what happens, just to prove that we're here, we're awake, nothing's going to stop us. The cabal can't come back. They're done. They're toast. It's over. Because if we don't do that, then we just keep signaling to them, that it's like passive aggressive bullshit. It's toxic. It's toxic for us. It keeps allowing them to come back and keep going on with their stuff. If you stand up to a bully and smash his face in the ground one good time, he will never come back.
Yep, absolutely.
And again, you don't have to use physical violence to do this. If we have 60 million people there, they're all going to fold. They're going to walk away. There ain't going to be no violence. That's the problem. We don't have the numbers, and Trump knew it. On J6, Trump knew it.
Yeah, it's all numbers. Even you go to your school board meetings and board of supervisors meetings. If you have the numbers, there's win after win after win that we've been seeing. You don't have the numbers, they just slough it off.
Right. And they're just going to keep doing what they've always done. And what you allow will continue. That's how this works. All right, so here's another one. Again, sorry, this one got cut off because it was a long one. You can look it up. You can see all I did was search the people. In fact, most of these I'm showing you today is just me going in there and typing in the people in the search on the Q drops. There's just a ton of them. And every single one of them says the same thing over and over and over. They're waiting on us. Q's waiting on us. We have the power. This one says we cannot afford to lose this rare opportunity, the right to right the wrongs, because we have a momentum right now. And if we let it pass, they're good. It's kind of like in a football game. You were talking about football earlier. You played football. If you've got the momentum to just drive the stake in the heart of the enemy and put it out of their reach, you do it. Because if you don't, you lose your momentum. They'll come back and beat you in the final minutes.
Yep.
And that's what Q's talking about here. It says, we the people, not Q, not Trump, not the military. And I say not Q, I mean what people normally think of as Q. Q is actually 10 people or less. That's all it is. 10 people or less working with President Trump. That's it. You think 10 people or less can take this thing over? Are you kidding me right now? This is an intelligence operation. It isn't a brute force operation. We, the people, must reclaim what is rightfully ours. We must rise. That means you got to get off your chair. No more armchair quarterback nonsense. Get off your chair. Get off your ass. We must fight. God bless the United States of America. Notice it says the United States of America, not the United States.
Yeah, I was curious why they did that. That's interesting.
Well, because the United States of America is the original republic. The United States is a corporation. Remember, we pulled that up last time. Here it's 28 U.S. Code, 3002. You scroll down here, Section 15. The United States means a federal corporation.
Yep.
Now I lost my place here. I got to go back and find it. So how many deep was I in there? Let's see. Was it this one? Yeah. I guessed it right the first time. I got a lot of tabs open up here. You can't see them. Next one. How do you outmaneuver the obstructionists? Oh, who are the obstructionists? I know who they are. They're not going to like us here in a few months. They'll be called out. But Q is talking about them. Q's been talking about them. These drops are old. How do you outmaneuver the obstructionists? How do you expose the obstructionists for what they really are? These are the people I'm calling Q-tards and Patriot Mythology people. Airplane screenshot people. Pied Pipers leading people down a false path because they want to get internet famous and make a bunch of money off people and steal their time. they are the enemy. Q calls them the enemy of the people. And it's talking about the people. They are only now figuring it out. People are just now. Q's prophetic. Future proofs past. All I'm doing is going back and just reading what it actually says. This isn't hard. People make it hard. Anything you want to add to that?
Well, it's interesting because it's true. So I think publicly I've only exposed 3 people, but because they all crossed the line, and the 2 of them were in front of me. So one was George Webb, because last 9/11 he started putting propaganda out about this. It's the 19 Saudis that actually were in the planes and took down the towers. And I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. So I called him out immediately because that was obvious. I called out Wendy Rogers in person, and I've been proven 100% right on Wendy Rogers now, and people are finally going after Wendy Rogers. And as you know, Russell J. Gould and
Yep.
his magic tricks. So
Spellcasting.
yeah, that's what it is. So
that was fun in Anaheim. That was a crazy night, man.
Yeah, it was. I really felt the first time I saw Harry Potter live. It was like watching. It was crazy.
You released your Patronus charm.
So I'm not opposed to calling people out. I give people as many markers as I can so they can figure the stuff out, like Q says, on their own. They need to figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
When they egregiously cross a line that's just way over the top.
Well, again, here's what's happening right here.
I agree with you.
Okay, next drop. This is 20, 25, 28. And I guess this one you can see the drop number because it's a shorter. I didn't have to crop it. Power belongs to the people. Does it say power belongs to the military? You know, the military doesn't exist without the people. They have no power or authority to do anything without the consent of the people. And the only reason they exist is because of the people. They are there just to protect our borders and our nation, our property. That's it. We're not even supposed to be involved in all these foreign wars. The military has almost no power whatsoever. And again, for all the people that want to keep screaming law of war manual, that's great. It's a manual and laws and codes for the military, not for we the people. And this, by the way, the Constitution, this wasn't written for us. This was written to restrain them. And the military is part of the federal government. That was written to restrain them. All of the power is inherent in the people. That is plastered all over every single founding document, all over every single state constitution. In fact, this is why I love the Constitution of my state, Tennessee. It opens up with its Declaration of Rights. It says that all the power is inherent with the people. Thomas Jefferson called the Constitution of Tennessee the least imperfect of all of them. He said it was the most Republican, and we said Republican, not Republican Party. The Republican Party didn't even exist back then. He meant as something in the spirit of the actual republic, because Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution says that the United States, the federal government, shall guarantee to all the states of the Union a republican form of government. Not a democracy. Nowhere in our founding documents is the word democracy ever mentioned. Now, we use a democratic process to elect representatives, stewards, public servants who don't have any power other than what we grant them. But here's the problem. When you let this stuff, when you let people do this stuff to you, what you allow will continue. Power belongs to the people. You are what matters. All you needed was a spark to unite together. Can you say unity tour?
Exactly. Beautiful.
They are scared, guys. We got them we got them running. They're gonna go. If we just sit around and keep going, trust the plan, the military Q. That's all. Or if you just back down, and be like, well, we're screwed. We can't do nothing. No, you could always do everything, Dorothy. You've always been wearing the ruby red slippers the whole time. All you gotta do is click them bitches together. It's really simple. That's it.
Yeah, and you know, uniting is so powerful, and we predicted this, but I can say today officially we've united with the take our border back group, which is amazing. Nice. So when we go in New York, instead of us going to our event, we're bringing everybody to their event on the Unity tour. I think that's stop number 37, it looks like, on September 29th in New York.
Yeah.
This weekend, I'm going over to support Mary Crowley and the Take Your Border Back group, because I think it's very, very important. So we've had to unite, and we're going to promote each other. That's going to grow and grow and grow and grow. And when people see that forces are coming together and uniting, it's unstoppable. It's just unstoppable.
Yeah.
But what I want you to really pay attention to, guys, is the ones that are not. That's where you want to keep your eyes on.
Yep.
The ones that aren't talking about the unity tour, the ones that aren't showing up to the unity tour, the ones that aren't supporting it, because it's free and it's about unity, and it's got four very important pillars that everybody can agree on. So pay attention to that. And like Ethan, I said, post election, well, if things aren't already fixed, the shit will hit the proverbial fan for sure.
That it will. But notice what Q says in this drop also. You go down a little bit further. Trust yourself. Think for yourself. Together we win. Not Q and the military is going to do this for you. Together we win. Power belongs to the people. You are not alone. Why would they say you are not alone if they weren't expecting you to rise up together so that they could come and back us? They're saying, guys, we need you to do your part. Open your heart and mind. Where we go one, we go all. Q's waiting on us. If we don't rise up, Q's sitting there holding, they're going to be left holding the bag. They're counting on us. They're like, guys, you're not alone. We're here. We got this thing. We do have a plan, but the plan will not initiate until you unite and rise up and initiate.
Exactly. Why would the military?
That's the marker.
Yeah. Why would the military want to step in if they don't have support of the people? They wouldn't do it. It doesn't. Wouldn't even make any sense.
And again, they don't even have the lawful authority to do it. Fuck your law of war manual. I'm sorry, but it's not for the people. We, the people, sit at the top of this pyramid. We're the boss. It's not the other way around. And by the way, everything that's done in secret, all that stuff's unconstitutional anyway. That stuff's got to go away. There's not supposed to be any secrets. And if the military is really doing their real job, and the federal government's doing their real job, they don't need secrets anyway. The only reason they need to keep secrets is because they're doing backdoor deals and sneaky shit with other countries and private contractors and James Bond villain style assholes who are hell-bent on profiting heavily off of us and breaking our nation and putting us under subjection of a one world government. Again, this isn't hard. People make it hard. All right, here you go. The election was not about fixing the economy. It wasn't about trade. It wasn't about borders. It wasn't about military. It protecting our children, etc. Also, another corrupt politician or insider could simply undo it. Look, Trump is like, look, it's not even really about this stuff. It is, but if we just, it's like you said, it's probably a good thing it happened this way. Because what if Trump would have just, got in there for another 4 years? We'd be looking at the end of his term right now. You know what the cabal would be doing? They'd be circling right back around, knowing there's nobody else standing in their way to come and reinstitute, because they can take down all these assholes they want. They can take down the Obamas. They can take down the Clintons. They can take down Pelosi. They can take down the Bushes. All these assholes could be in Gitmo. So what? We wrestle not against flesh and blood. We wrestle against powers and principalities and spirits in supernatural places. These are pawns. Obama's a pawn. Bush is a pawn. Pelosi's a pawn. Biden's a pawn. They just get replaced. We have to fix the real problem. This is what Q is saying. So you can't just, because that's just a Band-Aid. Just putting Trump in office for 8 years is a Band-Aid if we don't rise up and fix this ourselves. Look at what else he said. This was not simply another 4-year election, but a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not. Q didn't say this was wrapped up. They didn't say the plan's got it all handled. They said we're at a crossroads, and what we, the people, do or do not do will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. Does that sound like any of the Patriot mythology stuff to you? No. No. We have the momentum. We have to seize it. Carpe diem. Drop 2478. Let the unsealing begin. Let the declass begin. Let the world witness the truth. Oh, see, people are like, see, it's all handled. They're just going to unseal all this stuff, declass and everything. All the truth's coming out. Guys, it has been. But what's the next line there? We the people. They're telling you it doesn't matter. We can unseal all this stuff, declassify all this stuff. The truth can be witnessed, but until the people change, until the people decide to stand up and self-govern, there will be no justice under the law. Sorry, not sorry. I mean, think about it. You could literally, and I feel like, am I wrong? So many people are so complacent to the point where you can just literally show them all the stuff and they'll go, oh yeah, I agree with all that. And then they do nothing. So what happens? Nature abhors a vacuum. The bad guys are just going to keep governing you. They're going to just step right in and keep governing you because you're not self-governing. It doesn't matter what you know. I mean, it does to a point, but unless you actually apply the knowledge, knowledge is worthless. You can sit around and read thousands of books for 50 years. If you never go out and do anything, it's all pointless. It's worthless knowledge. What else we got? It is time we, the people, reclaim what is rightfully ours. Will you answer the call? Your country needs you. I don't know how you get any more clear than that.
I was going to say that's the most clear out of all of them.
I'm going to leave that one up there for a second just to let it sink in a little bit. Let that one simmer on the back burner for a little bit. Guys, no one's coming to save us. We are the people we've been waiting on. Again, I know it may seem like a cheesy reference to some people, but talking about Harry Potter earlier reminded me of that was episode 6 of Harry Potter, the Half-Blood Prince, when Harry thought, because he had witnessed, they were doing this time travel stuff, right? And Harry Potter witnessed what he thought was his father coming to save him and Sirius Black from the Dementors. Because he came and he saw this Patronus. Well, he realized later after he did the time travel thing with Hermione that it was actually him that did it. He was watching himself from the time travel perspective. He was the one doing it. And he realized it afterwards because he's sitting there dying. Harry Potter's dying. Sirius Black is dying. And the other Harry, the one that was time traveling, he's sitting there looking at it, talking to Hermione Granger. He's like, any minute now, my dad's going to show up. Any minute, any minute. And she's like, bro, he's not showing up. And so Harry takes matters into his own hands, casts his Patronus charm. Turns out it was him doing it the whole time. Q is trying to tell us this. It's the Harry Potter thing. We are the ones we've been waiting on the whole time. This movement is not about one person or a group of people. We, the people, save the republic. It's not even about a group of people. That means it's not about what they call Q, that group of 10 people or less. Hatred and dissension in the nation will heal. Save the republic. Do you realize what that's telling you? Hatred and dissension in the nation will heal. Do whatever it takes to save the republic. The nation will heal from it. Doesn't matter. If we have to J60 million this thing, do it. Look,
Well,
Q even
it will heal because nature heals just like human nature heals, right? I just saw a great story. Sometimes I fall asleep to documentaries, and Chernobyl 30 years ago, they put out an edict of a 20,000 year quarantine where they don't want anybody to go near Chernobyl for 20,000 years, right? Within 30 years,
there's nothing wrong there.
They now have more beautiful wildlife, greenery, and forest within the square area of Chernobyl than they do in 6 times 6 the area after that, because everything will heal on its own. So I think it's a powerful message. Says, don't worry about whose feelings you're going to hurt right now. We got to take our republic back. And then I've been saying this forever too. We're all going to come together. Everybody's going to come around. And I don't think those so-called massive disclosures would ever come out until we, the people, look like we're taking our country back. That's the huge difference. And that doesn't just mean voting for Trump, guys.
No,
Who
it
knows
doesn't.
who knows how that would go anyway.
Again, look at what it's saying here. We are Q. Look at the bottom
Right.
here. We the people, and they put Q in parentheses. What is it saying? What is Q? The people. The people are Q.
Right.
I mean, I have it at the beginning of my show all the time. I have the TV set. It zooms into the TV. It says, we are Q. I've been doing this for years. That's been running on my show for like 5 years now. We are Q. We are Q. Q has been saying this the whole time. It's not just the small group of people that are doing these did these intelligence drops. That's not Q. That's the head of the operation. That's what started the operation. But technically, if you want to take it all the way back to the top, Q is the Holy Spirit, in my opinion. But so there's levels of Q. That's why there's Q, Q plus, Q plus plus, right? There's different perspectives of what Q is. But ultimately, we the people are Q. And Q is telling us that. Just stop sitting around and waiting. Is the plan Q? Yeah. But what is Q? The people. Is Q going to save the day? Yeah, if we decide to. Because Q is we the people. Here we go. Together you are strong. You, the people, have the power. This movement challenges their forced narrative. This movement challenges people to not simply trust what is being reported. They're repeating something that was already said. We read that before. Think for yourself. Trust yourself. This movement's not about one person or group of people. We the people. Okay, so that's a screenshot of the first one we read. That's why. You have a choice. The choice has always been yours. Power to the people. What are you waiting on? I mean, this goes on and on and on. This is why I'm just flabbergasted. My mind is blown how anyone ever twisted this into sit around and wait on Trump and the military to save everybody, especially when it's not even lawful for them to do it.
Well, we've been conditioned though like this, Ethan. So great example. I can tell you because I researched this heavily, way before this whole Q deal and conspiracies that we know about now, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Decades ago, I was researching because I was running marketing companies, and I can tell you that 90% of people make their decisions based on the headline, not the content.
Right.
So it makes sense, and that's laziness. That's the way we are. And yes, I do understand that we're intentionally kept busy, so we feel like we don't have the time to research while we're taking our kids to soccer and feeding them. But here's the reality: is the people that were manipulating the message Q, I guarantee they're masters at that, and they know that headlines are where people mimic. And I call them, as you know, I call them the paper. I'm not the paper patriots, the parrot patriots.
Yeah.
Because they just parrot the message, parrot the message, parrot the message. If anybody would have taken the time, they would have instantly found out, as you did, that that's not the message. The message is we the people.
It's always been there. I mean, again, this is just, you're literally looking at drops. All I did was I searched the people. And all the truth is there. You have a choice. The choice has always been yours. Power to the people. And it said this, they're telling you how they do it, again, how they keep us in this place, like what you were just talking about. They use Hollywood. They use political leaders. They are loud. Group think. You and I talked about this not too long ago on a show series about the Hegelian dialectic. That's all they do. As soon as we all come together and unite and rise up in numbers, physically, and that's the thing, we can't just all sit back and do nothing. That's the problem. Because if they don't see it, J6 was powerful. It scared the shit out of them. That's why they actually broke the Constitution. Everything they've done to all those J6ers is completely unconstitutional. But they thought, well, we have an option here. We either break the Constitution and do this to scare these people and put them back where we want them and keep them in line, or this is really going to bust wide open. It's going to bust wide open no matter what. Nothing can stop what's coming. The question is, how long are you going to allow it to go on? That's the real question. How long are we going to allow it to go on? And this is my favorite one. I sent this one to you. I even put my own little Hello McFly on there because this is the most clear. You can't get any more clear than this. Nobody can look at this and say Ethan Lucas is full of shit, or Ethan Lucas is stretching a little bit, or he's twisting stuff. Not to mention the fact that I just read post after post after post after post that's really clear. What does this one say? True rule. The people have the power. Rise up and demand they be removed. Rise up and demand they be removed. Rise up and demand they be removed. That's the only way this happens. And it says, guess what? If you do that, here's the next part. At some point, military generals will act with the will of the people simply because their soldiers are the same people and have no choice. This is so clear. This is awesome. We stand with you. We are monitoring the situation closely. They're sitting there holding up the collapsing bridge the whole time. I feel bad for them. All these people just not doing nothing, and they're like, come on, guys, please. This is getting heavy. We're tired. We want to go home. We want to fix this. But no, y'all want to sit back and trust the plan. Even though you are this is the plan. They're telling you. Lewis, can it get any more clear than this? Am I reading into this? Am I half retarded or something? Am I Q-tard?
You're definitely a Q-tard. But no, it couldn't be any more clear than this. It's so off. But it's not just oops, they missed it, but the ones that were always just saying trust the plan, it's just a movie, they were malicious. And that's the thing that people really need to start realizing.
That's what pisses me off about it.
Yes, they're malicious, and they were toying with we the people.
They weren't showing people this. They were showing people all the drops that they could manipulate to make it look like stuff was just being done and we didn't have to do nothing. Now, is stuff being done? Yeah, I have no doubt. If the military is not doing their job and what they're supposed to do, if the president's not doing his job, if people in the government aren't doing their job, we got a really big problem. So I have no doubt stuff was being done, but there's also infighting there. There's factions that were trying to cover stuff up, and they have. But at the end of the day, it still comes back to the people.
Well, and look at this. So you've shown in our last 2 episodes here 15 to 20 drops, all having to
probably more than that, but yeah.
Yeah, all having to do with the words trust the plan or the people. Now, if you have followed a lot of these pundits with the movie, the popcorn, the trust the plan people, total over the last few years, they may have shown you 15, 20 drops because they always go back to the key ones. It's like the gematria. When you pull up gematria, you pick and select the ones that you want, and then you ignore all the ones that says that equals Satan or something like that, right? That's exactly what they did to the Q drops. Instead of really listening to the message, they're like, what's going to support my message, build my platform, and sell the most stuff? Oh, okay. It's the hopium. Let's go for that.
Yep. Speaking of that, I think we're getting close to it. Well, this is just we'll breeze past this one because this is, and I just want to prove a point here with this one. Even Q posted the Declaration of Independence here. Why would Q post this if they didn't want you to rise up and take down the existing system? Why would they say all the? Because I teach people this all the time. It's with the Bible. Pastors do this. They pick a few key scriptures that they can twist and manipulate, and that's all they ever speak from the pulpit, so people don't actually know what's in their Bible. Mm-hmm. Same thing. But why would Q say all that stuff and then say this? Just posting the Declaration of Independence. It's the right of the people to alter or abolish and to institute new government. It's not only your right, it's your duty. Read the Declaration of Independence. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right and the duty of the people to alter and abolish and institute new government. Q is literally asking us to stand up and wipe the whole slate clean. Take everybody, drain the swamp doesn't mean, well, we'll pull the plug and we'll just see how, it might drain real slow and watch it. Bitch, get some Drano. Clean that thing out. Clean it all out. Start over. Q didn't stutter here. There's a reason they posted this. They're very tactful with what they do. They knew this day would come. Evil everywhere, corruption everywhere. We fight. We the people. We fight. They throw it in your face over and over and over and over. This isn't hard. People make it hard. This is bigger than any one person or entity. You are fighting for truth collectively. Will of the people. It's all about the will of the people. What do you want? Are you willing to do it or not? The choice will always be yours. Trust in yourself. Where we go one, we go all. Do not fall victim to con artists. This is what we've been talking about this whole time. The airplane screenshot people, the Patriot mythology people, the Q-tards, people telling you that it says stuff that it doesn't say and ignoring all the stuff that it actually says. Stay on point. Use logic. This is not about a single person. Quit following it. This isn't even about me. I don't. If you think it's because I have all the answers, I don't even want you to follow me. I want you to go do some homework. Stop watching the Ethan Lucas show. I'm sure, Lewis, you feel the same way. If that's what you think it is, if you think it's about Lewis Herms or about Ethan Lucas or about anybody you follow, stop and go do some research and get your head right, because that ain't it.
Exactly right.
It's we the people, we the people, we the people. This is not about fame, followers, or profiteering. How many people that have been preaching this Patriot mythology message that has prolonged this problem and kept people, the Pied Pipers that I'm talking about, how many of them have been just about fame, followers, and profiteering? I can name a lot of names, but I won't right now. There's coming a day, if they don't straighten up and fly right, they have an opportunity to repent. And repent doesn't mean say I'm sorry, although I think they should do that too. Repent means to do a 180 and go the opposite way.
That's exactly right. Show your fruits.
Yep, you'll know a tree by its fruit. Okay, apply leverage. How do you do that without taking action? Strategically, one by one, unity, power shift, rise of the people. Why does it say WW right there? In my mind, that's World War. It says not understood. You don't understand. I think what Q is saying, if you don't apply leverage, if you don't do this strategically, if you don't recruit one by one and get people to join in unity and create a power shift and a physical rise of the people, we will have world war. And that will be the one thing. We need to stop world war from happening. The clock's ticking. You, the people, have all the power. You simply forgot how to play. Together, you're invincible. Make noise. We are with you. Make it rain. Remember it says, watch the water?
Mm-hmm.
Make it rain. What water are they talking about? The human body is almost 90% water. We are the water. Watch the people. Watch yourself. Rise up. Stay together. Be strong. Get organized. Be heard. Fight the censorship. Fight everything. Again, over and over. It's the same message over and over and over and over and over.
Together, we are invincible.
Together, we're invincible. They can't stop us. But again, that's why I think Trump said, everyone go home peacefully. They win this round. We didn't have enough people. We're not ready. We have more people. We're invincible. We're unstoppable. Q knows that. They've been saying it the whole time. It's been in our face the whole time.
And I think we could have done it with 2 million, but we weren't organized. And we weren't prepared.
That's still stretching it, though. I think.
Well, we weren't prepared for the infiltration, because there's a way that you could counteract the infiltration. We actually teach this on the truth tours with people that are in our group, how if we have an infiltrator, how to handle them, and you can smash that really, really quick. But nobody was trained to know that was going to happen.
Nope. We, the people, need to remember how to play. We have the power. Why are we here? This is a great one here. Why are we here? Q is saying, why do you think we're here? The 10 people or less who are making these intel drops. Why are we here? Why are we providing these crumbs? Think memo. Building the army. Q, this has all been about building an army the whole time. We are the army. We are the lawful militia, the army. Look, not convinced this is spreading? You, the people, have the power. You, the people, just forgot how to play. Fight, fight, fight. This is more important than you can imagine. They're begging us to do something. We the people, we the people, we the people. Where we go one, we go all. No person is above another. We the people are making the world a better place. We the people are taking back our country. This is a form of manifestation here, by the way.
Right.
A lot of what Q has been doing has been spellcasting and manifestation.
I was just going to say it's spellcasting, but in a good way. So what's interesting about this also, I am really starting to believe that there is something like Project Looking Glass, right? Mm-hmm. And this is, to me, this is almost like Q would look into Project Looking Glass every day, and you can see the frustration building. Guys, it's freaking we the people. Don't you get it? It's we the people. We the people.
Yeah.
Come on. Don't you get the message? Oh my
Look,
God,
it says stand up, Patriots. Stand up and defend what you know is right. Stand up. That requires physical action.
Right. So that's what I see going on, is there's like a Project Looking Glass thing, and they're looking in and going, "Oh my god, they still don't get it. Come on, guys, this is what to
Yeah.
look for."
Well, and look, they put the famous Trump numbers down here, 4, 10, 20.
Yeah.
Wasn't that his license plate? Or was it Tesla? I don't remember at
I
this
think
point. I got
I
too
don't
much
know.
going on in my head with this.
Somebody in chat will tell us right
Yeah,
away.
somebody in chat remind me what's the 4, 10,
I
20?
get corrected daily, so just
It's
wait,
something with
guys.
Trump and Tesla and all that. So there's too much. And here's the thing too. Once I get like hyper focused on one thing, and I fill my head with that, it's kind of like your computer. You know, some of the memory temporarily just drops out, and you forget things. You have to go back and relook. Look, remember the people. Or I'm sorry. Remember, the more people there are, the more power the people have. They're just telling you. Rise up in numbers. We need more numbers. We, the people, are who they are afraid of. We, the people, are who they fear will one day awake. See, if this was all handled by some secret group in the military, Q wouldn't be saying stuff like this, would they?
Couldn't.
It wouldn't even make sense.
No,
This doesn't make sense unless you understand they're asking you to rise up in numbers and do something, right? You can count the people who have the full picture on two hands. Here it is. Of those less than 10 people, only 3 are non-military. Why is this relevant? Game theory. Outside of a potential operator who has been dialed in with orders specific to his or her mission, nobody else has this information. Operators never divulge. So you'll never know who the Q operators are. You could have met them in person. You could be watching them online. You could have shook their hand. You don't know who they are, and it's never going to be divulged. So there is a plan. There's a purpose to it. It is a fight. It's not easy, but ultimately, at the end of the day, stop trusting all the Pied Pipers and focus. Understand that none of this stuff's ever going to be divulged. Also, Q said there will never be any outside comms. So all these intel drops, total bullshit. It's real simple. It comes down to unity and numbers of the people rising up and demanding a reset. We do need a great reset. Why do you think they're pushing for a great reset? If they're pushing for a great reset, that means we need one, but we need our great reset.
Exactly right. That's what I've been saying forever. Is everything that they're doing, we do. We just do it. We just need to do it correctly. By the way, the answer to your question is 41020 is the letters DJT.
That's what it was. Yeah.
That's what 41020 is. And
but I thought it was on a license plate somewhere that had something to do with Trump, if I remember right. I don't know.
Be. Well, DJT is. I just want to give a shout out to the admins right now. We are being infiltrated heavily, organized infiltrated, because they all came in at the same time, and they are on it. Delete.
Oh, they're pissed. Delete. So you can be pissed.
Yeah, good job, guys.
If you want, we can do this old school style. They can just come face to face. Come meet us on the Unity tour.
Don't tease me, please.
Okay, so this is from page 54 of my book, The Jesus Q Connection, Volume 1. I screenshot this. It was taken down a long time ago, but I knew as soon as it popped up, I had to screenshot it. Eric Trump, this is from his account, Eric Trump's official account on Instagram. I don't know if you ever saw this. He posted this. Who's ready for the Trump rally tonight in Tulsa, Oklahoma? He has a Q behind it, and he has the hashtag where we go one, we go all. Okay?
Yeah, interesting.
You remember that? Well, I want to show you something for all the people that they keep bitching about me saying the gematria that's been applied to the Q drops is all false. It's all bullshit. It's infiltration. It's a false trail. It all comes down to Chaldean numerology. Why? Because Q said it's going to be biblical. The Bible is based 100% on Chaldean numerology. Why? Because it was written during a time of Chaldean numerology when Chaldean numerology was the only numerology. Gematria is actually really new. It has nothing to do with the Bible. Q is not going to use it. If you plug in Tulsa, this is what I did. This is why I circled it and I put 17. This is just an example to prove what I'm saying is right. If there's any numerology being used, and there is, I promise you, they're using Chaldean numerology. If you plug in the word Tulsa into a Chaldean numerology calculator, it comes out with the number 17. You plug it into any other numerology, Pythagorean numerology or gematria or any other stuff, it's a big nothing burger. So is this proof that I'm right about that? No, but it's another piece of evidence. I have a lot of proofs, but it's something to consider. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more drops if you want to go through them.
Do it.
House created another variable. Use logic. Why does Q always say think logically? Use logic. Is it logical to sit back and do nothing? To wait on something you don't know what's going on? Here you go. Look, why would we tell you the plan if in doing so also alerts those who are actively engaged in hunting? But you have to use logic. They knew we could figure it out on our own. We have all the answers. They can't just openly say it. In a lot of ways, the Bible was written this way. It wasn't written openly and obviously. It was done in parables, in hidden symbolism. Because remember, the other side's watching, right? Same thing with the Bible. That's why the Bible says God will send them a strong delusion that they'll believe a lie. Because there's a lot of people that'll read the scriptures who their heart isn't right. Remember what I said, you don't read the Bible reads you. It's a mirror. When your heart is right, you'll see the truth. That goes for the Bible and it goes for Q. So listen to the people who are thinking logically, who are showing you the proofs. And Q right here saying, we're not going to tell you the plan. You got to figure it out on your own. And think about this. If it was just a plan that only Q and Trump and the military, when I say Q, I mean those less than 10 people. If it's just something that they could do and handle and take care of, Q never would have done any drops. Right? Why would Q do drops if it was just something they were going to handle on their own? They would just handle it all and then it would all come out. What's with all the cryptic stuff? What's with all the intel drops? What's with trying to get people involved and waking people up? Because it's always been about getting the people to rise up together. Always. It's never been anything else. And anyone who says otherwise is a fool, or they're just trying to make money on you. We the people, enough is enough. Together we win. Do you think all these attacks on Q, look what it says in parentheses after Q, we the people. It's telling you again, Q is we the people. The plan is we the people. Do you think all these attacks on Q, we the people, is simply for a person on the internet who they label as a conspiracy? Think for yourself. Trust yourself. Research for yourself. Be in control of yourself. It's all about self-governance. And collectively, we all rise up together and self-govern and take our republic back. Hit the reset button. We the people, enough is enough. Together we win. Okay, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, I did this because it cut the bottom off. Never let someone else drive you. Those who try to drive you are not your friend. Stop following patriot mythology, people. Stop following people that pretend they have all this secret knowledge and information. It'll never be divulged. It's 10 people or less in the official Q group, the intel group, the intelligence group. You'll never know who they are. They could be in your face. They could be hidden. You'll never know. But use logic. Be in control of yourself. Stop following Pied Pipers who are making money off of you and the following. Drop 1318. Think logically. Use logic. Again, who has the power? Who has control? People are like, yeah, but look, it says if POTUS was not in control, would they be retreating? Look at the date on this, 2018. Trump was in control in 2018 of the White House. It doesn't mean he's in control of governing you. Do you want a president to be able to govern you? That's not his job, by the way. Again, people read stuff into it that's not there.
Well, great example is, so my platform's called Screw Big Gov. It's not Screw Big Government. It's Screw Being Governed, just so people know.
Yeah.
It's these are small acronyms.
You're not supposed to be governed. Our founding fathers set up a system of self-governance. They hated being governed. All right, 3 more. Everyone has an opinion. Few have the facts. Few know the plan.
Hold on. Yeah, redneck, stop following me. Exactly. We don't need followers. If we give you a good message, fantastic. But we definitely don't need to follow anybody.
Yeah, I'm not. By the way, I'm not mocking people. I'm being serious. Like, I don't want you to follow me, and I'm sure Lewis feels the same way. It doesn't want you to follow him. If you're doing it just because you think you're going to be given something magic, there's nothing magic here. We're the arbiters of logic and truth, not just trying to get you to self-govern. That's what we want you to do. Wake up and self-govern. Jesus did the same thing. He wanted his disciples and his apostles and his followers to wake up and self-govern. Q wants you to wake up and self-govern. That's all this is. And if you're following people with the big followings that have this is happening and this might happen and watch this and this is secret, they're just, it's Pied Piper crap. They're just leading you down a trail that'll end up in nothing. And if too many people keep following that stuff, we're going to have a heavy price to pay for that ignorance and for that unwillingness to self-govern.
All we're asking, and we're aligned with Q on this for sure, is just don't just trust us, though. Go do some of the research yourself. So, trust and verify. That's all I would do.
That's it. Wasn't that Reagan that said that? Trust but verify.
Reagan said that. Yep.
Again, use logic. Why must the DOJ and FBI be cleaned first? What is the DOJ responsible for? What is the FBI responsible for? So Q is telling us right here, we're talking about a reset. It's all got to be cleaned out. Do you think it's going to get cleaned out just sitting back and watching things happen? Just vote harder. Vote harder. It'll get fixed. Next time we vote harder. It's not going to get fixed that way, guys. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and expecting different results. We have to clean out the DOJ. We have to clean out the FBI. We can't make headway until we at least start there. I think the best option is just J60 million, just all at once, one day, boom, it's over. All right, everybody get the fuck out, pack your shit up. You forgot you dropped your laptop there, Pelosi. Get that, your tissues in the corner. Get out. Everybody out. We're starting over. Not up for debate. Just get out or we're going to remove you. Choice is yours. Do it the easy way or hard way. And it's over just like that. And then we start over. We have all the new elections. We go back to the original republic. We go back to real law. Cut all the bullshit and go back to 1776 the way our founders did it. That's all Q's ever been asking. And I know that's an inconvenient truth, but that is the truth. Take a look at this. Last one. Think logically, or logical thinking. All assets deployed when by any means necessary. They've already deployed all their assets. What have you seen happen? This is interesting. Why would they post this? It says the plan. Here, let me zoom in on this. See if I can get this bigger. It's probably going to be a little blurry, though. Henry Kissinger. Why would they post? Think about this. It's the plan. Because there's two plans at work here. We, the people, are the plan for us. They also have a plan. So I think what Q was doing when they dropped this and dropped 4003, I think what they were doing was they were showing you that there are those who are pushing a plan or a perspective of what the plan is. That's not our plan. It's their plan. And this is what was said by Henry Kissinger in an address to the Bilderberg meeting in Evian, France, May 21st, 1992. Today, Americans would be outraged if UN troops entered Los Angeles to restore order. Tomorrow, they will be grateful. This is especially true if they were told there was an outside threat from beyond, whether real or promulgated, that threatened our very existence. It is then that all peoples of the world will pledge with the world leaders to deliver them, it does say the world will pledge with world leaders. I think I'm supposed to say plead. Will plead with world leaders to deliver them from this evil. The one thing every man fears is the unknown. When presented with this scenario, individual rights will be willingly relinquished for the guarantee of their well-being granted to them by their world government. Again, why would Q post this and have it say the plan at the top? Think real long and hard about this, but it's not actually hard. There's two plans at work here. The plan they want you to trust is the one that leads you down this path right here. But that's not, I think that's really what Q was saying. Again, logical thinking. When by any means necessary. I mean, I don't think it could be made any more clear by Q. And I don't think it could be made any more clear that Q never wanted half the stuff that was pushed about Q.
That's right. I think, again, Q understood that that's where it was going to go, because they understand, even assuming there is no Project Looking Glass, they understood just based on history of dealing with the Satanic Cabal, their tactics. So they knew they would infiltrate us big time, and they have.
Yeah.
Huge, for sure.
Yep. Well, that's all the Q drops that I have for that. When we do the next one in this series, I'm going to go into some really good stuff with founding documents that a lot of people haven't really probably read.
Love it.
Stuff that people don't even know exists. I mean, the founders make it very clear. And it's interesting, too, when I hear a lot of these brainwashed Rockefeller education system attorneys and judges that'll say half-cocked bullshit they say about the Constitution or what real law is, and they'll sit there and defend, the precedent that's been set, by previous cases and whatnot. And like you've said before, that's just case law. It's laziness. It's an unwillingness to go against something that was it was a wrong ruling by a judge. Judges put their pants on and wipe their ass the same way we all do. They're human, right? And a lot of them have an agenda. So just pushing case law is bullshit.
Yeah,
they don't have courage. That's right. But if you go back and you actually read all the founding documents, all the letters and the addresses made, in the congressional meetings and stuff leading up to the signing and ratification of the Constitution that we have now, you'll find that everything the founders said in those letters, the Federalist Papers, Anti-Federalist Papers, just the addresses and letters between themselves, James Madison to George Washington, George Mason to Patrick Henry, so on and so forth, you'll find that all of the seeming unclarity suddenly becomes super clear because the stuff they talk about in great detail in their letters clearly defines what they mean, and the short sentences that are in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. There's really there's no confusion, really. The confusion is intentionally created by ignoring all of the letters written by our founders, which will define what they actually mean. If you want to know, if there's an argument about what an author means in something, like you look at the Constitution, well, what does that really mean? Or look at the Bill of Rights, what does that really mean? Well, go back and read stuff written by the people who wrote it. That'll define it for you. This isn't hard. People make it hard. It's the same thing with the Bible. If there's ever any question on what the author of a specific book, like the Apostle Paul in any of his letters to all of the Ecclesias, the Galatians, the Colossians, the Ephesians, on and on, his letter to the Romans, the Hebrews, if there's ever any question of what that author meant when he said something specific, go back and reference with all the other things he wrote. It will self-define. It's not hard. People make it hard. So again, we the people have all the power. It's up to us. Q's been asking us to do this the whole time. We need to reset. We got to wipe the whole thing out and start over. Sorry, not sorry. I know that's not what people want to hear, but that's what it's going to take. Regardless of whether Trump gets back in there another 4 years officially or not, it'll just go back to the way it was if we don't clean house and start over. And I firmly believe the military will back us, just like Q said in that drop, that even the generals won't have a choice but to back the people, because all the soldiers are the people, all the Marines are the people, the airmen are the people, the sailors are the people. They'll have to back us. They won't have a choice. They work for us anyway.
Yep.
But it's going to take numbers, because we can't go in there with 2 million people, because then the argument will be made, well, it's only 2 million people. There's 350 million people in America. We can't have the voice of, 1 or 2% of the people making these changes. That's what will happen. That's why we need more people.
Do you know what time it is?
7:31 Eastern. Oh, it's Neumi time. Wait, hang on. I got mine here. This is why Lewis is 185 years old and he looks like he's 90.
Yes, I only look half my age. That's a true story right there. Yeah, that's right.
Make sure you support. Lewis doesn't ask for anything, and he doesn't ask for donations. I don't ask for donations. We try. I mean, it obviously takes money to do what we do, so we try to fund it by giving you guys the best of the best, and Neumi certainly is. So everything that you do with all of your orders with Neumi, the swish and the skin spray, not only are you protecting yourself against the crazy stuff that's still coming out of these shedders, the stuff they're putting in the livestock now because of the bird flu, right? They're now, it's a law that in every country, I think, that they have to test every single cow and chicken and pig whenever it's transported. And so you know what testing means. You're consuming mRNA, you're consuming graphene oxide, you're consuming the nanobots, you're consuming everything. And again, this is not any medical claim. It can't be construed as that. It's not meant to prevent, cure, or treat any disease or mitigate any disease. But it's just a scientifically known fact. Just look up all the PubMed studies, 170,000 plus PubMed studies of what glutathione will actually do. It is the master detoxer of the body, the master antioxidant. And your body makes, by the time you're about mine and Lewis's age, our bodies are making about half of the glutathione it used to make when we were kids. So that's why it's important to replenish it. And it's the only glutathione on the market that will actually go directly into the bloodstream through the mouth sublingually and avoid being destroyed in the stomach acids. Unless you want to go get stuck in the arm with an IV, pay $300 a pop for a glutathione IV that'll last 4 hours. But it's up to you. For $1 and some change every day, you can have the best detoxer, in my opinion, the best prevention against crazy shit that's in these tests that they're putting on the lives.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Beautiful. Thank you. Now, next Tuesday, guys, I think. You're available next Tuesday?
Yeah, we'll do part 3 next Tuesday because I want to get into the writings of our founding fathers and dig into that a little bit because they say the same thing. The founding fathers say the same thing over and over and over. I mean, if stuff starts going sideways, guys, you got to rise up and you got to hit the reset button because otherwise tyranny will create. They dealt with it and they got tired of it. You know, that's what they just removed with the British, with the king and his army and all his navy and all that stuff. They weren't messing around. They didn't stutter. Q is telling you the same thing. Your state constitution tells you the same thing. You know, it's time. I mean, this thing has reached its expiration date, and it ain't going to fix itself. Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry comes from me.
It's not gonna fix. Sometimes you just gotta hawk to her, right? You gotta spit on that thing.
It's such a millennial.
That's what I'm gonna do when we burn down the Federal Reserve. I'm just gonna hawk to it. I'm gonna spit on that thing.
Yeah, I'm not even going there. But here, I want to show. I'm just maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe
well, I don't mean physically. You don't have to physically burn it down. I mean,
no, you're going to physically hawk to it. Is what you're going to do.
Yeah, I will do that though.
So
they can write me a ticket maybe for a misdemeanor for spitting on the building, but whatever.
I want to show a picture real quick before we leave because I think it's very, very important. You alluded to this, by the way.
Okay.
But I want to show that. Can I? Yeah, share screen. I can't share screen. Huh?
Is it not letting you?
Oh no, I'm on the wrong browser. It's asking me to use Google Chrome, which I don't use. Okay. Anyway, has anybody ever seen the actual Constitution?
Can I? Is it something I could pull up?
Yeah, pull up a picture of the actual Constitution.
When you say the actual Constitution, you mean
the paper, not just the words, the paper, the brown paper. You know, just put in Constitution in your browser. In your first image, it'll have it there. Go to images.
Go to images. Okay.
There you go. Pick up that one right there. Perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Make that as big as you can. Okay. I'm just curious. What are the 3 largest words on that document?
We the people.
Oh.
And by the way, I'm tired of these people saying that, you know, the people like you and I and all the rest of us, that we're not actually we the people. That's not who it was talking about. These were agents of the crown. Bitch, if it was agents of the crown doing this, they wouldn't need to write this. They would just keep you in the same place you're in now. They ain't gonna write this. You think they're gonna write something to handcuff themselves?
Everything's been infiltrated. You know, the reality is there were actually good Masons back in the day. I know I get a lot of people upset when I say that, but there were good Masons back in the day.
Yeah.
The writings, when you went up the levels, the writings weren't as satanic as they are now. So those have been changed
Yeah.
post 1776 moving forward, 1871, there's big changes. So, yeah, so we the people is right there in the Constitution that tells you everything you need to know.
Where's it at? Did you know about this? George Washington to William Russell, September 28th, 1798. This is in the Library of Congress. This is his actual letter right here. He talks about the Illuminati infiltrating the Masons in this letter. Where's
exactly
it at? Right there.
Yep.
Right here. I have heard much of the nefarious and dangerous plan. There it is, the plan, and doctrines of the Illuminati. This is a letter of George Washington to William Russell, September 28th, 1798. Remember, Washington was a Mason.
So many of the founding fathers were actually.
Yeah, I don't think they originally started out, with issues. And also, just, to speak to that further, again, I don't think your average Tom, Dick, or Harry at your local lodge knows half of the stuff we even talk about. If they do, it's because they study it on their own. It's like a double A league or a triple A league for the big leagues in the Illuminati. They farm people out of there as they see fit.
They do. Yeah. Yeah. You have to get past the level 3 before you even have a clue of what's going on anyways, if you're a Mason.
Yeah. But a lot of it's been changed. And again, this is George Washington. Again, this is not conspiracy theory. This is in the Library of Congress, talking about the Illuminati. And their plan. It says, I have heard much of the nefarious and dangerous plan and doctrines of the Illuminati. So again, it goes back to, what was the last one I just pulled up here? Where'd it go? No, it wasn't that one. It was this one. No, it was this one. There it is. The plan of the Illuminati. There's 2 plans at work here. Which one do you want? The problem is every plan takes action. It takes work. Somebody's got to work a plan. You can make a plan. Nothing's going to happen until somebody works the plan, right? Absolutely. And I think we made it very clear today. If we didn't last time, between last time and today, I think it's very clear. I don't think anybody can come back and say, well, Q meant that, we need to just sit back and do nothing. It's actually quite the opposite.
It's the opposite.
Quite the opposite. And that's why you want to know why the madness still continues. There's your answer. Again, think logically. Mm-hmm. Again, this isn't hard. People make it hard. I don't know. And I'm going to catch a lot of hate for it because there's a lot of deluded people that just want to live in delusional land. And I pray for you, brother. I love you. And there's people that even people that I think are preaching a false message that I feel like they've fallen off the wagon and they're leading people astray. I've tried to talk some sense into them. They won't listen. I love them. But, there's going to come a point where names are going to have to be called out and ties are going to have to be cut because they've made their choice. They just want to be internet famous and lead people down the wrong path. And now it's actually hurting people. And so that we got to put a stop to it.
Yep. Agreed.
So anyway, are you good, brother? Is that everything for you?
Yeah. Next Tuesday, we'll be back. Part 3.
What did you call me? See you next Tuesday.
Yeah, I won't say what I normally call you.
I know. All right, guys, that's it for me and Lewis here today. Part 2 of We the People Are the Plan. We'll continue with part 3 next Tuesday, same way. And get your Neumi orders in, neumi.com/L Herms. So you can be safe and healthy. We want you safe and healthy. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next one.